Biosecurity. This unit here is for years 5 to 6, Unit 3 Design and Technologies, and it's designed for nature. Design a product to meet an identified need or opportunity for wildlife on North Keppel Island. Biosecurity is really important within the Great Barrier Reef Islands. North Keppel Island is 18 kilometres from the mainland. It was once a continental island, was once part of the mainland. Then after the Ice Age, when the ice melted and the oceans rose, we were cut off from the mainland. So it's really important that we try to limit and to stop the spread of already introduced species and to stop other species from getting here that could actually have an effect on this island environment. So we've partnered up with the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority and marine parks as well to bring about biosecurity. One of the biggest problems on this island, not so much animal wise, is plants. There are a lot of weeds already here, but we're also trying to stop the spread of these weeds and to stop introduction of new weeds to the island. So what we'll do is we'll go around for a walk and we'll look at some weeds that have been introduced here, what controls we have in place at the moment. Then if you could come up with a product that could stop maybe the spread of these weeds on the island would be really great, or the introduction of these weeds to the island. How can we stop these weeds getting here when school students come? Often we have in a week, we'd have 50 students here from Longreach or Bark Alden or some other school. How can we stop those weeds from out there coming on their shoes and socks and clothing when they get off here at North Keppel Island? So before I spoke about what weeds are here within our centre lease, I'll now just walk up our front path, and it gives you a bit of an idea of what weeds have been introduced just straight away when you come onto our lease. This one here that you see with the fluffy top, this one here, it's a type of grass. It's called red natal. That's an introduced species, the red natal. Moving along, we have this one here, this purple top. You've seen it in a previous video on bush tucker. It's not actually edible, but this purple top as well has been introduced. Here's that red natal fully in flower here. Now it's a really fluffy type of seed. Coming back along this way, you got the Tridax daisy. This one here, this is an introduced species. Down over this way I can see there's only a couple of small plants here. This one's fleabane. Fleabane's one of the only plants that's resistant to Roundup, which is pretty cool, but it's still a weed. And then this one here is one of the biggest problems we've got. This one here, you see it down at your local beach. It's called Mossman River Burr. Apparently it came here in cattle feed. It's a real issue. Those little thorns, those little spikes, they get in shoes, they get in everywhere. Very prolific spread of going through with being on clothing. So Mossman River Burr is a real issue for us here. Moving along up through here, you can see as we come onto our centre lease, through here there's a few other introduced grasses. So this is an introduced species. We've got our Townsville silo, so introduced species. So just in a small area you can see just how many weeds are already here on North Keppel Island. So we're trying to stop the spread of them. Now one thing that we did, and you might like to look this up on our website, we actually got a grant from the Fitzroy Basin Association to weed this whole area. This whole frontal dune was weeded by the weed whackers, and they got tons of weeds out of here, bagged up and removed. We were about to have the other one, but as you know, everyone needs to isolate, so we had to cancel our latest weed whacker weekend, but we got a few more coming up in the future. But you can go to our website and check that one out as well. One of the best initiatives we have here at North Keppel Island Environmental Education Centre is this place here, the greenhouse. This is one of our efforts to ensure island biosecurity. We can't actually bring any plants from the mainland, because the whole island's a national park. We lease a little bit off national parks. As part of that, we have to grow all our own natives here and propagate them here to plant them out. We had a really positive story lately. We had an expert come down onto the island, and he was looking for the pandanus hopper. Now, the pandanus hopper is an insect that has been really knocking the pandanus population up the east coast of Australia. Luckily, he came over and he didn't find any here, and he put it down to the fact that we're not bringing pandanus palms over here and planting them. We're actually growing our own from seed. So I'm going to take you on a tour through our greenhouse to have a little bit of a look at how we've set this place up. Okay, so in here you can see we've got some seedlings on the go. We've got some hibiscus seeds in this second one. These are our casuarinas. We've got some native jasmine, and we've actually got some grevilleas there, which is great. This is a new planting one, the grevillea. We haven't had much luck with those, but it seems like a few of those seeds have struck there now, which is a really good sign. So they'll be in the hothouse. Underneath the hothouse, we just put some of our pandanus seeds. You can see these starting to sprout here now, which is a really good sign. From this section here, what we then do is we'll actually come over to our potting section, and we'll pop those into these individual little pots, and then we bring them along here and put them out. So these ones are probably just about ready to be moved on. This is another good positive project we've had too, is actually striking the beach spin effects. This is really important for the stabilization of the sand dunes, which is great. You can see here we've got some sandpaper figs, some native jasmine growing here, which is really good. The larger casuarinas that you can see here. So what happens from here, the plants from here will be taken outside, and you can see outside here, this is the area where we sun harden them. Once they're hardened up in the sun, then they'll be planted out on our lease. This is the next part of our biosecurity. Any food scraps from our kitchen actually come down here. Now you'll notice the bricks on top of the numbered compost bins. So what that actually does is tells the students which compost bin we're going to be using that week. So what happens is the students, they come down, they bring their bucket of scraps down. We're going to use number 7 today. They open up number 7, they put their bucket of scraps in there. Then what they do, they come over this direction, they get some carbon out of here, and that's just basically shredded coconut fronds and other green waste from the island, and then they put in, for every bucket load we put in the compost bin, we put a shovel load of this in. This is the carbon that helps break your compost down. The other really important thing that we have here is we've built this greenhouse so the soldier fly larvae can actually get in here. You'll notice the holes on the compost bins here. That allow the fly to lay their eggs and the larvae. We have to put in this screen as well to let the actual soldier fly in to lay its larvae. It can't get through the shade cloth. So this is just one way that we actually manage our food scraps. From here they'll go to the second section over there that you can see, and then from there we'll actually move them outside, sieve them, and this would be used for potting our plants. Hey, you'll notice this one. You see it on the mainland. It's a pest, guinea grass. You can see this lot though, that this has been treated in an effort to control this grass. This was brought over for cattle feed into Australia and very quickly takes over an ecosystem. You would have noticed this one too from a previous video on bush tucker. This one is the snakeweed, another introduced species. This one, all you can do is basically, if you pull it out and just leave it on the ground or heap it up, that actually will kill the plant and stop it from spreading. So a lot of our students, when we do weeding, this is a species we'll target. It's easy to pull out in the sand. I just wanted to show you this one. This is a success story that we've had in preventing further erosion. These native hibiscus, so this is a native, we planted these. This is deep stem planting. Basically they were cuttings, and we drilled right down till we hit the water at about 60 to 90 centimeters, planted in the stem without any leaves on it, and they have just taken off. Deep stem planting. It was a very successful project. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed this informative video. What I'd really like is if you could come up with a design that could help the spread of weeds onto North Keppel Island. Is it something that you can build that we put at the harbour before people get on the boat? Is it a station, some form of quarantine sort of thing that we can put on the boat before people get off the island? Or can we set something up as well so when people go back to their community, say students from here leave here, then they go back to Longreach, that they actually stop at this station to stop the control of weeds leaving North Keppel Island and ending up back in Longreach or back in your community if you were to come and visit here. Hey, hope you liked the video. Check out our other videos on our YouTube channel. There's some really good ones there. In the description you're going to see some inquiry-based questions and some Australian curriculum descriptors. Have a crack at some of those questions there, see how you go. We've put our email address down the bottom. We're happy for you to ask us questions, send in some emails. We'd be happy to mark or assess any work you do as well. Thanks for watching.